Okay.
Man, we've been seeing a lot of Lycan dying on turn 1, I feel like.
And another same version of the previous matchup, right?
I'll
Yep.
give my life for the rebellion.
Green-black versus red-green.
Which, all things considered equal, which deck do you like more in a game like this versus each other?
So I slightly favor the red-green deck because besides this particular scenario, it's actually really tough for the green-black deck to start making money, and you need to get that first and second kill so that your paydays start getting into effect, so that your Ironfall gold mines start giving you just the thing that you need, the reptile convoys, and again against beefy red heroes like Axe, Pugna, and Legion Commander, that is just complicated.
Yeah, I think the green-black is probably my personal favorite because I'm partial to the gold creation, but it doesn't have a great time dealing with creeps, and the red-green has 21, I believe. That's over half the deck is creeps. So compared to, I think the closest is maybe in the early teens, something like that. So there's quite a discrepancy in terms of creeps. But it really is a zoo deck of sorts.
It really is, yeah. So Challenger decides, you know what? It's actually really valuable. Also, Challenger decides to wear his headset right now.
Yes, put on that headset, Ben from Vancouver. Talking directly to you. This is God himself.
Oh.
Put on those headphones. Excellent.
So yeah, actually, yeah, choosing not to spend that gold. There were not many appetizing things. It's just like Traveler Cloaks. And he wants to save that for something more powerful, maybe getting that Apotheosis Blade later in the game, or just, going for a big reptile convoy later.
Yeah, I like being greedy with this. Did you watch the game earlier where somebody bought the secret? What's that card? The secret shop card?
Tasha's card?
No. Like the actual.
The shop deed.
Yeah, the shop deed.
The shop.
He bought it and then didn't ever use it. He spent all his money on it. He was super greedy.
He never casted it?
No, he cast it, but then he never got anything from the secret shop.
Oh no!
And he died like 2 turns later. So
it's
like one of those that if you get it super early, it is extremely value, but it can. There's such a thing as too greedy.
Yep.
In Artifact.
Okay, so going back to this game, we see a pretty common sight. Rick's dying.
Yep.
Again.
That's fine. He's a body.
Yeah. That wolf is actually going to be threatening that Mercenary Exiles, and without enough money, just 1 gold is not enough to buff his attack to 3. That means that the wolf will survive. It will regen 2 of his health because of his passive that gives it 2 health after the combat phase, and will start growing from there on.
Yeah, but of course, if you get 1 more gold on the side of Fwosh, she can actually buff that creep next time around to kill.
Yes, and Fwosh now has her own Savage Wolf.
Oh.
He's unattended, and it's going to be a 4/5.
Got a lot of wolf action going on. Untested Grunt is likely going to be put down here from the Challenger.
Yeah.
Unfortunately for him, Debbie is hitting the creep.
What side do you put the Untested Grunt on? You try hit the axe?
I need to prove myself.
Yeah, I think so.
It's easy to say.
That's pretty good.
Actually happen.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
I mean, at the end of the day, it's not enough to kill him, but doing that much damage to Axe is pretty invaluable because he rarely does take damage. And you get the extra 2 damage from Lycan overall, so
yeah, that's
worked out.
Pretty value.
I mean, if worst case scenario he hits straight, you still do 6 damage to a tower. That's pretty good too.
Yep.
And if only Debbie was hitting that tower, this thing would almost be dead.
And Bronze Legion are actually trading. People have pointed out that like one is a 2 mana 4/2/2, the other one is a 4 mana 4/2. And while that might seem unfair, it's different colors have different strengths.
Yep.
Red creeps are really powerful in terms of like armor. So sometimes it's apples to oranges to complain, or like I guess
I think
blackberries to strawberries.
Sure, that's even better analogy. I like mangoes personally, but
I love mangoes.
If they saw the whole deck list, I know you do. If they saw the whole deck list, I think it would make a little bit more sense because. Like black, you just want to, like depending on the deck how you want to create it, you have the option of just throwing these creeps out left and right. You don't really want to do that necessarily with the Bronze Legionnaires because you want to put them in front of creeps a lot of times to not only block it, but to do damage later on. And yeah, the theme is definitely important as well to keep in mind. And PA hitting this tower now. So we do have a payday coming from the Challenger. When would you use this? There is a hero potentially dying in the 2nd lane, and you can cast it in the 3rd. That's probably what I would do.
3rd lane, yes. Yes, you're getting a hero there. You might be even getting a little bit more than that with some of the creeps dying.
Yeah.
No point playing it now.
Yeah, and no accident, not really going to do a whole lot for you. Nether Ward being placed in the mid lane, that's the improvement that comes with Pugna. That means the rest of the game, any spells cast by the challenger in that lane will deal 3 damage to his tower.
Yep. And as that, we sit and wait. There's not much going on. Again, Fwosh's hand, a little bit complicated right now because there's a lot of things going on for her, but nothing really fantastic.
Yeah.
She can do a Celebine's Favor setup for a Divine Purpose, for example, or she could play a Rebel Decoy and push a little bit more damage out of her Savage Wolf, but nothing stands out as like this fantastic play. Decides to go for the Blade of the Vigil that will actually do enough damage to kill the Savage.
Yep, very nicely done. The cleave, of course. She also has the option of playing the Poise to strike.
And the Traveler's Cloak if she wants the Pugna to survive.
And that's kind of the importance. Like when I play, I don't know how you do it, Bruno, but I like to play my least, like unless I think I'm about to die immediately,
yep.
I like to play my least important stuff just to make my opponent play something important so I get more information about the lay of the land, so to speak.
Absolutely.
And actually try to counter them in some way.
I mean, Richard was talking yesterday and saying, you know what, like the one thing about card games is that you get things happening, you have a lot of hidden information, whether that information comes from like the board and how things will attack or where will they fall, or the information comes from the opponent as to what they have in hand or how they're going to play their things. So the more information you have under your control, the better decision making you are going to make. Yeah, as you said correctly, just wait for the stuff, wait for the opponent to use their best spells, whatever they want to do, and then if you can afford it, then use your powerful spells whenever they don't have an answer to.
And I think that's why in a lot of these decks, by the way, I think the Mercenary, oh, she could have actually buffed the Mercenary Exile to live through that, but chose not to. Wanted to keep the gold. Buying a lot of cheap items, it just fills your hand. It's actually really good in some way. Like, obviously you want to get these huge items. That's like everybody's dream, but being able to just play a card is super valuable in a lot of ways, even if it doesn't really help your hero that much.
And will we see a Divine Purpose here? I think, yeah, okay, going to Axe.
Goodness, all right.
Yeah, a little bit of an overkill. You know, Axe is already really, really hard to kill, now making it impossible to kill pretty much. So we were talking the other day, what ways were there to kill something with damage immunity with the cards that we have right here. And I think there's 2. There's Coup de Grace.
And then the item thing, right?
And then the item thing, yeah.
Which I didn't know until yesterday.
Yeah, so if you have an Apotheosis Blade and a hero in front of the damage immune hero, for example Axe, and Axe was equipping, say, a Traveler's Cloak that would give him +4 health, and he himself had less than 4 health, by destroying that item, you would remove 4 of his health, go to -1 and kill him without taking damage just by removing the item. So in one way, it's like that Traveler's Cloak was holding him together, and by taking it off, it just falls apart.
And a potential next level play, if you need to kill your own Axe or whoever, and he's Divine Shielded or whatever, you can overwrite the item with something else.
With a weaker item.
With a weaker item that will end up killing him. Of course, very fringe case, and who knows if that'll happen anytime soon.
I mean,
it's pretty cool to think
I'm sure it will happen to someone at some point in the game.
Sure. All right, so this first lane, we do have a Coup de Grace here for the challenger, so it could take out LC if he so chooses.
He actually chooses to use the pick-off to remove that Pugna. That Pugna was not much of a threat, but it was trading with his Chen, and I think he valued the survivability of those 3 green heroes, which, by the way, they're all in the same lane, so heavily restricting what he can play where.
Right. Plus, he's looking at this right now. Oh, PA is already hitting LC. She's going to die. But if you look to the top, you can see that Fwosh does have an item. Chose not to use it, though, because she's going to die anyway. So Berserker's Call, easy way to just clear that entire lane, essentially.
Yeah, interesting choice. I mean, there was not much that could have been done, and had the combat resolved, there wouldn't have been more damage to the tower. But again, removing that PA for 1 turn seems to be something that she considers valuable.
So a couple options here. You have Revtel Convoy, which is the unit that gains damage based on the gold you have.
Yeah, and that's going to be a 12-20.
Or you could silence Farvon, which is the only hero in the lane, preventing him from playing any green cards. But choosing to go for the Revtel Convoy, I think it's a safer choice for sure. Well, not the safer choice, I guess technically silencing is, but not a lot is accomplished by that.
Nope. It's actually probably the most valuable way to do it. And the Rebel Decoy comes right here as well. It might be able to swap with something. Do you want to swap here? No, I don't think there's anything.
Let him die.
Hope this works.
Indeed. All right, so now this is the choice. Do you coup de grace or do you go for that sweet, sweet gold?
You payday. You abandon this lane. You say, you know what? This is not my fight.
Agreed.
I take that 52 gold. That will turn my Reptile Convoy into a 26-18.
Because the other way to look at this is, no matter what you do, Debbie's dying to a creep.
Yes.
And you can't save her. So payday, 52 gold, and more creeps being spawned here for Fwosh.
Out. Get out of here, Wolf.
Indeed.
One of those cases where no accident is just the perfect response.
Indeed. All right, 54 gold, and what do we have here?
Oh, look at what Fwosh bought. We're gonna see this item. We're talking about it before.
Oh, hell yeah.
Oh, man.
This is, out of the items that are considered expensive, which I'd say is like 18 or more, this is up there with the Horn of the Alpha for me.
Yeah,
personal favorite.
Has to be careful of not putting it in front of the Apotheosis Blade, though.
Yes, that's true. That would be so bad.
That would be pretty bad.
So, in theory, we talked about this item, of course. The most important part about it, other than the giving armor to your tower, which actually is probably the most valuable part because of the fact that the champions have less HP on their towers, but being able to respawn right away, similar to what Rick's has, and having a Divine Shield on Axe, for example. So putting that on maybe, well, in this case, it would be somebody in the first or the second lane, in all likelihood, because you've already. But the fact that you have two units that are kind of like they're invulnerable in some way, right?
Yep.
You're not killing them, or you're not having that much impact by killing them.
Okay,
it's like Rick's is being put in the last lane to block.
With Rick's in that last lane, it is less likely that we will see something like what we were talking about before, where a Vesture was played and then the Apotheosis Blade was played in response. However, yeah, because he spent some of the gold, now the Reptile Convoy is not as powerful as it used to be. It's not a 26-18, it's just a 14-18. Fwosh can be looking at that, being like, oh, I know exactly how much gold is missing, and you only have one card in hand. She probably knows that it's the Apotheosis Blade.
Or the Horn of the Alpha.
Does this deck have a Horn of the Alpha? I mean, it could have been for the Secret Shop, of course.
Oh, that's true. But yeah, this is the, this one should have it as well. Has one Apotheosis and one Horn of the Alpha. Those are the two expensive items.
There could be another Reptile Convoy here, and now you're putting two 14 and 20s. Putting pressure. You not only kill the Farbram, but also start threatening that lane with pretty much no heroes. You don't care at that point if the Lycan dies. You just take that lane with gigantic convoys.
Yeah.
Another piece of art that I really like. These horses are pretty realistic.
They're very realistic, in fact.
I like horses.
All right, they're just going to pop that Reptile again. This one's going to be killing Farvon. Gets the extra 2 damage from the Lycan.
Yep. Still applying 14 to the tower. That Nether Ward not super effective when your opponent is only playing creeps. Remember, spells are only the things that you play and then get resolved and go away. Improvements or creeps are not spells.
Right. Now, do you vesture Farvon? How much do you care about that?
You have 2 heroes coming back and you'll only be reducing 3 damage to a tower.
I think it's more about the rapid deployment than is the armor in this case. So she's going to do it. Because at this point, Lycan is stuck here. Axe is stuck in this lane as well, the 3rd lane that is.
Yep.
So just getting that huge advantage of, you're matching the 3 heroes if he ends up dying here.
Yep. And now the 3 armor in the tower means that there's 11 damage coming from the Reptile Convoy.
And I think the smart move here for the challenger, correct me if you think I'm wrong, Apotheosis Blade probably should be saved for the next round. I don't see a good use here.
Probably want to save. It's not going to accomplish anything right now.
It could kill the wolf.
Yep. You're not going to use coup de grace anytime soon right now, so you probably save it.
That would be a disaster, discarding that.
That would be a bad investment indeed. And now we can see that even though Farron died, he has the check mark because he is ready to come back. Because of that Apotheosis, because of that Vesture of the Tyrant gives him rapid deployment. When a hero with rapid deployment dies, it is immediately ready for deployment, so it can be deployed at the start of the end of the round. That's a lot of deploy.
That's a lot of deploy indeed.
Hand of God here, prevent 2 creeps, delay the push.
I mean, you could think about it. It seems weird on the surface, but it definitely serves a function.
Now here you can Berserker's Call, and now suddenly you're putting 15 damage into this tower. just
will
one
she go
short.
for poised to strike to finish it off?
You absolutely do.
And she will. So down the third tower goes.
Except.
We've done listening to you.
Except nothing.
That
Except
doesn't
could
do
have played the Savage Wolf in front of the axe to block 13 of that damage.
True.
But she decided to silence. And I guess scared of the duel that was actually there in the hand.
I mean, it's not necessarily the wrong. I mean, that's probably the move you do more times than not. But having that wolf now in another lane could be beneficial because if he had blocked there, you have to think that eventually, like the next round, that tower goes down anyway.
Yep.
It's a tough call. Now, here's the thing: you probably don't want to spend money with these two Reptiles out, right?
I don't think you do. I think you rely on those Reptiles to win that lane.
Although that Wingfall Hammer is pretty tempting. I love that item.
Well, it is gone now. And there's a lot of heroes to deploy for both Fwosh, who is putting some inch. Oh, I wonder if this is going to happen. Oh, no. I was hoping for a big team fight.
I think we might be getting one.
And this is pretty close to that.
He's debating which way he wants to go.
Going around. The Chen is the important deployment here, right? Because the Chen can steal a creep, and you probably want that Savage Wolf on your side of the board. However, at the same time, that lane is already pretty much being taken. So I'm not sure if putting two heroes is not overcommitting too much to that lane. Although there's a threat of Ancient Kill Destruction as well, so we'll see where this takes us.
So, in theory, you can put Apotheosis Blade onto Debbie, and she can destroy Pugna's items.
Yes.
And get the kill on Pugna. But you're going to die no matter what.
Right.
Unless you use coup de grace afterwards.
Or
which you're not going to get to.
Right. Because initiative is a thing.
Indeed.
By doing that, we remove Debbie from the equation, opening 8 damage from the Pugna, and with that putting 14 damage to the tower, drawing a card with Potion of Knowledge, and with 7 gold, the Mercenary Exiles is not as tempting as it sounds. So we might just see a Bronze Legionnaire show up instead and put a little bit more damage into the tower. Oh, he goes for, sorry, she goes for the Mercenary Exiles as well. Will she click that active?
I think so. Why not?
Oh, yeah.
Ends up losing 1 gold, the extra tip for the
Well, you have to give them some
mercenary.
time. You know, they're good mercenaries.
They're from America. You got a tip.
You have to tip. Well, fortunately, it's not 20%.
That's true.
So now we can see here the steal. If he wants to, you might consider just saving that and not stealing anything because you're already destroying the tower. But I think just stealing that wolf and making it grow on your side is probably the way to go. That and the Thunderhide pack, and you might be threatening lethal in 2 turns. The other option is to actually Holy Persuasion the creep, not so that you have that, but to also have more damage open in front of the Reptile convoys. Although you're already doing lethal damage, so that's not the most fantastic idea.
Yeah, and this is more of a like 2 to 3 turn lethal when really the first tower is your biggest concern. And all you have is a Lycan spawning, which, yeah, you can put down a Thunderhide pack, but we have 3 heroes, 1 with rapid deployment. That's not Rix. It's going to be a tough comeback here for the challenger. Because keep in mind, the 3 armor to the tower, like, let's say somehow a creep gets by these heroes that are just amalgamating in front of everybody else. Creeps do 2 damage, 3 armor, trumps that.
0 damage.
I won't let you down.
Rix looks like, well, he kind of wants him to die, so he'll have a second hero in the first lane, I suppose. The worst thing you can do is put Savage Wolf in front of
Lycan right now. Yeah, that sounds like a mistake. You're giving that Savage Wolf for free. You're saving your rigs. That's an absolute disaster. And the throne is gone here. So, and you really don't think that Fwosh is going to be able to take this Ancient. The game will end up faster than that. So, leaving those 2 heroes stranded there, and there we see a little bit of the weakness of the Divine Purpose as well. And okay.
Ooh. Unlucky on the draws for his items. He's buying him out, which is the correct move, but the Thunderhide, or the
Horn of the Alpha.
Horn of the Alpha. I keep saying Thunderhide pack, which is what comes out of it. It was basically at the bottom of the list.
Yeah, so with Rix and Lycan coming back, we will need to see a lot of really good deployments.
Oh my god, that's the worst.
Yeah, that's not good.
Oh, that's not what you want to see. And we're not going to get to see the Apotheosis Blade actually destroy items either, which I think we've yet to see in the PAX so far.
And what is there to do? There's the Savage Wolf that can prevent some damage, 8 damage in particular. That's going to take you to 21. And you can't do much. Well, you can Potion of Knowledge. Definitely Potion of Knowledge.
Yeah. Of course, you have to worry about if there's a duel or something like that.
Yep.
Which they'll be able to kill Rix, but not. Actually, they can. No, they can't kill Lycan either.
Yeah, if you're worried about duel, then the first thing that you need to do is you need to make sure that both your heroes are out of duel range. So the first thing that you will play is that Traveler Cloak will go here. And not Apotheosis play.
Well, he'll get a kill in the duel at least.
That is a trade-off. Okay, they gave him a freebie. There's a pass here. Okay, there's some concession.
All right, game's over either way. GG, Fwosh wins.
Yeah, Ben from Vancouver, well played. And Fwosh, congratulations. Yeah, we will be seeing some more challengers coming back soon to us, but that